Okay, let's get going. Hello, assholes. I am so excited to be here. I am Alex Mack, and I'm going to be chatting with y'all about the most latest episode of Movie Trivia Schmodown with these dimwits that I hate and love at the same time. But let's all face it, they're idiots because they are both really losers and they're not part of team action. So, whatever. Okay, so jumping on right off with Lon Harris and what's his name? Bibiani? Who is this fucking idiot? I don't know. Someone tell me, why should I like this idiot?
Oh, we should just introduce ourselves too.
Oh,
come on.
Sorry.
So
there you go. That's how much experience I have. There you go. Danny, tell me who you are.
What's up, guys? It's Danny, and we have who else do we have in here?
Hey, we got Dylan in the whole podcast, and we're here to talk about Bibbs and Lon for about 10 seconds before we start talking about the real match that happened this week.
Oh, boy.
Yep. All right.
Big shit.
So what do you think about this whole little mini tournament thing?
I am
Indifferent.
excited. I'm sorry?
I'm indifferent to these people. I didn't care. I like Bibbs' entrance, of course, but
yeah, he was great. He was fantastic. He was really fun. I always like his entrances, but that's all I like about him. You know, you can only love so much an idiot, a fool. So
Bibbs does have this just constant dad humor joke going to him, but it feels like it's not ironic or any way. It just feels like that if the Schmodown is aimed at a younger audience, like I'm talking like children age audience, like Bibiani is their favorite character. He feels like he's coming out of Disney to be a Schmodown fan.
Someone posted about him interviewing Kermit the Frog, and the whole thing came up, and it was perfect. It was him interviewing him, and I'm like, which one's Kermit? They're both Muppets to me. But and as for the comments afterward, all the lyrics from Man or Muppet from the Muppet movie came up. So people started arguing, are you a man or a Muppet? No, he's a Muppet of a man, a very manly Muppet. You know, and so that really got my heart thumping. So.
Low key, I think Bibiani would be fantastic in the Muppets movie. I wouldn't even blink; it would make so much sense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's playing the Movie Trivia Schmodown, and I can't say that. I don't hate Bibiani. He's an excellent competitor. He's a former champ. Respect where respect is, but I mean, the character is just what it is. We're spoiled. Here's our problem, guys. We're absolutely spoiled being action fans and Action Civil War and just being straight heel fans. And then we just
we're not so much correction. We're not so much heel fans. We're winners fans.
It's true. That's true.
We like winners. We are not following idiots. We're not following blindly. That's what we're doing. Let's be honest now. Check yourself
before you wreck yourself.
Yep.
Thanks for the backup.
All right, so stand corrected. We like winners and we like good heels. Which actually, the more rookies and stuff coming in, the more the heel stuff, it's becoming a dime a dozen. So yeah, there is a good stand down on that point. For
sure. I mean, speaking of a rookie and a heel, though, can we talk about Smets real quick and Oyama? I mean, Oyama is part of the Action Army. He is a fan of us. He is one of us. He obviously takes a lot of
liberties
takes a lot of liberties from especially Guy. Every time when he interviewed, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a little guy in there.
Here's the real question with Oyama. Like, I'm all for it. He's one of us, so I can't say too much shit on it. And he played a good match. The one thing that sticks out to me, does this land or does it not? His catch line or catchphrase. It's prime time. Yeah, at the beginning of the match, it was just like when they asked, "Are you ready?" It's prime time, baby, or something like that. I
didn't even notice.
Oh man, I noticed.
Yeah,
and I kind of fucked with it. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
what'd you do?
I don't. I just enjoyed it was one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I should buy a catchphrase coming into it. It's not where's the belt is a catchphrase, but him intro thing with it, I kind of liked it.
You know what? I like the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It would suck if he was a one-timer and it never came back again.
I mean, I think he has become like I think they're going to build an arc around him just taking a chance at this point.
I mean, he's obviously he has talent. He's a great player so far. But it would suck to have so much charisma and so much confidence only to be a one-timer. Or
agreed.
Only once or twice. Oh wait, what's the checkoff date? Not date, but time. Like, if you lose 3 times, is that like you're never really invited?
I don't know if there's really an official one, but it does feel like the same around 3 losses or something, 2 or 3, and they're just going to be like, all right, we need to start figuring out.
Yeah, I'm like thinking of like Coy's situation, and then there was Cody Hall. Oh man, Cody. Not Cody, but Coy. Good Lord. It's the C name, probably. That's like bad juju.
And he's like such a good dude. Like,
so good. I love him.
He's a sweet entertainer too.
On Collider Heroes, he's just so fun.
And movie fights.
Movie fights as well. And I want to point out something real quick for everybody. That the Bibiani lawn match is so entertaining that we are talking about every other player in the Schmoedown.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the match.
So true. Oh, I'm sorry to everyone. Everyone that's like probably commenting.
The Bib and the Lawns fans are.
When are you gonna get to the match?
Talk about the match. God.
Talk about the match, man. Well, we'll get you a fucking match. That's what we'll do. But yeah, I thought Lon performed very admirably. He played the best of his abilities, but he keeps talking about, both him and John, his brother, keep talking about how they're only really good at these really good. They only can talk about these really great movies, so they're not going to know who. What was the name of the villains, the villainous basketball team of Space Jams? They're not going to know that off the top of their heads. But that being said, you need to know more than just these Oscars art movies. But they keep talking about how they don't know any of these quote unquote B movies or anything like that. So they're kind of digging their own grave when they say that shit.
I think to that point too. That we've seen that Lon's an excellent competitor. He has a great knowledge base to him.
Completely.
But it is one of those ones where I don't think that he's expanding. I don't think that he's training, and that shows. Like in his match against Ethan earlier in that last season, amazing match. Showed that they went punch for punch, super great. Like we know Lon has that smarts, but a good competitor continues to keep watching films and expanding and studying and researching, and that's why whenever we look at
not just casually watching,
right, it is one of those ones where we see the players are just getting that much further into that game, which is why the league is at such an insane point at that top tier competitiveness. It's a 1 question difference anymore. And Lon is just not at that level anymore. I mean, at first we were comparing him to Ethan Irwin, and now not even close to the same category.
Well, when he debuted fantastic. I mean, when he was Cody Hall, I mean, it was, definitely one of the best matches of the season. Danny, I'm sure you can agree in terms of it was such an amazing match. They were like pound for pound. And ironically, Cody came out in a Space Jam jersey, just saying. But, and after that, he faced Ethan, and that was the match of the year. It was so amazing. But he really after that, he just kind of went downhill a little bit. I mean, joining teams really was a saving grace, absolutely bringing him back. But, he can't rely on just his charisma or lack of, alone, at that level. So
is Lon just going to be the next McWeeny? Do we think that he's just a solid competitor, but he has those high roll peaks and then it just falls?
Maybe where he succeeds primarily as a team, but as a single, he just doesn't have the confidence to do it.
Right.
Maybe he does need someone right next to him and be like, man, you got this. He needs a motivator. He needs a Jay Washington or a Ken Apsock or someone over his shoulder.
He needs an extra mouthpiece for confidence building to just demoralize the other team.
Or in his case, Guy. He needs Guy over his shoulder.
Oh, God.
We could all use more Guy.
Yeah.
It's like we got to bring out our inner Guy and just carry a pimp cane, walking around with a wolf head.
Oh, God. So sweet. It's so sweet.
I'm hoping to dress up as him for when I go down to Texas for the show. Cosplay.
That's gonna be sick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be comfortably watching that from my stream at home because I will be going to Chicago and I get to pick one of the two. I do not get to pick both.
I'm going to see what I can do about going to Chicago. I mean, being from St. Louis is only 4 hours away, but it's a process of taking time away from work. That's the issue.
But here's the boss match, and Ben's going to be playing. So we get the traitor of the two, but...
I'm not ready to cry today. I have you know, Dylan, so fuck you. I appreciate you, but...
Oh, man. No, we're getting tears. This is still coming. We have a whole real match to talk about.
Oh, let's do this.
Yeah, but just to wrap up on Bibbs and Lon, so I guess, I mean, it was just a match, right? I mean, I love the whole concept, but I'm hit or miss about the player choices for the triple threat going in. I think that's going to be a sweet match by the time it's all said and done. But I think it was just John Roca, somebody on the top 10, and then Bibiani, somebody on the top 10. And I remember scratching my head. I'm like, why are we not seeing Clark Wolf? Why are we not seeing Ben? Why are we not seeing, like, Schneider even? Like, there's a handful of people who could have gone into these that would be way more interesting than, But then we ended up with this, and I think it's going to have a sweet three-way. I'm going to see Irwin Merle 3 as my bet, but I don't know. Where do you guys land on that?
I agree. I mean, I would make no changes to that, honestly. I do feel like similarly to Dan, when he's good, he's great. When he's bad, he's awful. You know what I mean? You know? There's not much gray area for him. And hopefully he's on a roll. I mean, well, honestly, I don't want him on a roll. But he's so knowledgeable on so many different things. So it's ridiculous. It's bonkers.
I think in a separate episode, there's a discussion to be had. Do we want to see another era of Merle? Or do we really want to see some of this old classic stuff again? Or do we want to see this new Blood Usher again?
Danny, okay, good. Come back me up here. Come on, help me out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of tired of the old Force people. I think they're all kind of need to be put away. Kind of. I'm tired of seeing Roca for the millionth time.
Yeah.
In a finals match. He's always there. It's annoying. It's boring. He has the same shtick all the time. And yeah, it's boring. I don't need it anymore.
Roca.
I want to see Andrejko win, to be honest.
Oh yeah, like if I want to see
close. He's come close. He's
any classic player.
And I think he's the best player that hasn't won anything, like singles player.
I don't know if he's intense enough.
Or Clark.
I really don't think he's intense enough to win. I don't know about Clark. Andrejko, he's just so casual about the process of winning and losing. He talks about how he wants to win, and I'm like, awesome. But he's just like, whenever he's like behind the mic, he's just like, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna try next time. And I'm like, motherfucker, come on, you can do better than that. But he's just so casual about losing. He never really seems angry. But maybe that's just his personality. Maybe he's just a mega chill dude. I mean, he's like best friends with everyone. So
yeah,
I doubt it's easy for him to go up to someone and yell at him.
I see that definitely being more of a coping strategy for him, just so he win or lose, no matter what. He's just like, if he wins and he's just like, didn't think I was going to win, and he loses and he's just like, well, if I just have the mentality I'm always going to lose, then I'm never going to walk away feeling upset on any of my matches. But the flip side of that is that it doesn't drive him to want, like, he's good enough to be a champion. Like, that's shown many times. He's been in that contender spot time and time again. This was last season. But I don't think he just has that drive. Like, I don't think that championship doesn't mean what it does to mean to Merle or to Roca or to Guy or Bateman or any of these people. Like, these ones are like, they're hungry. They're fighting to get to this belt.
Yeah. Like, action, everyone that's in action. Drew, I feel like he is very passionate, but he just doesn't tell people about how passionate he is. Like, I've heard him, like, in episodes, like, I've heard him on a handful of episodes talking about how he does training with his kids. Like, his kids train him all the time.
Right.
Like, he would be doing dishes, and his kids would be like, who played this? Who voiced this guy? And How to Train Your Dragon 2? Kit Harington, you know? I mean, it's like a family affair, you know? Not only the kids come and watch, but the kids are involved in the training process, which, you know, is I can only imagine how fun that is. I mean, that's what I want to do one day.
Parenting goals.
Yeah, right. But and not to mention Guy and Bateman, they've been so vocal about how often they train year round, how consistently, how they have no cards. They, him, Riley as well, even though I'm like, Riley, but at the same time, you got to respect the man and his love and devotion for the league. So, that asshole.
That bastard. But we're coming for him. We're coming for both of them.
That beautiful man. And that, it's annoying. Okay, so kind of jumping onto the real match of the week, the real bread and butter of today. So we're going to talk about the match between Robert Meyer Burnett and Guy versus Dagnino and Bateman. Or was it? Danny, what did you think about the little announcement 5 minutes in?
Well, Ben was very rude, and he didn't let Andrew finish his statement. So it was kind of on him, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Get your shit together.
That's just what happens when he tries to, when he betrayed us. Like, he doesn't even take time to even listen to poor Andrew.
And
that's when he has to get his ass kicked. So
he had it coming.
That makes so much sense too, because Andrew's been this entire time sitting here and just saying, get that class, get it together, have all this respect. And Ben doesn't even have the common courtesy to let him finish and explain that Drew McWeeny is going to be his partner, and that Robert Meyer Burnett is his manager. Just some common courtesy. And he could have avoided that whole situation, but nope, had to get rolled.
Just shouting this out into the universe. Fuck you, Ben. Eat shit.
Oh, wait, can we get a fuck you Ben sign again? Can we get that award stuff?
I mean, we can have a whole episode dedicated to how much we hate Ben Bateman. Let's face it. Just punch him right in the face. Like that. However, that being said, he made this ridiculous assumption, not letting him finish his sentence, which would have given him a little clue that who was going to be his partner, his new partner, his most amazing partner, Drew McWeeny, that's going to play with him against him and Dagnino. Now, that being said, this is an amazing partnership. I'm mega excited. And so this is the debut of Drew and Guy together. So you guys, Dylan, tell me, what did you think specifically about, your first thoughts of them coming out as a team when they first walked out of the curtains together and they were like, yeah, we're going to make this, shit ours. What did you think about seeing them together when they hit the desk for the first time?
Oh, finally seeing it hit the desk was so satisfying. I've been waiting for a long time. The fantasy drafts were hitting and people are drafting teams. Didn't even try to get any of the new teams. Didn't try to get who's the boss. I said,
I did.
Andrew Guy's team. Doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to be so stoked for it. And I admit, I thought it was going to be JTE for a long time.
You did?
I was convinced. But then hearing McWeeny and seeing that match play out, as soon as they announced McWeeny and Riley on that schedule, I was like, oh, it's going to be McWeeny. There's no reason. That makes so much storyline sense.
Absolutely.
And then just knowing that knowledge is there, McWeeny is part of debatably the best team in history. They beat the Patriots. They beat them twice just to ground it on in. And that wasn't just all Sam. At the end of the day, we know McWeely's a monster. And he has a monster set. Yeah. He has a monster set of knowledge that is very different than Guy's. And I think that's going to be perfect. Because I think in that same way where Riley meets Ben, in that he gets the horror part, he gets the other sides of things that Ben doesn't get, McWeeny is right there with Guy. And I think you need that. But I think the one thing this match did show is they need to work on that chemistry and get that ring rust off.
Absolutely. Rub up that rust. They've got this. They have it together. I was like, do you, Danny, have any major predictions? This is their first match together. I know we're going to be talking about the end results, the points and everything, going on. But what do you see, Danny, kind of walking away? What are you hoping is going to be the next big thing for them as a team specifically? What are you doing?
I want to see them, I think, as they said, I want to see Drew get more comfortable, the Drews. like
Okay.
get more comfortable with each other.
Okay.
And McWeenie, I think he just needs to be less boring, I guess. I mean, that's always been his problem.
I mean,
So I need him.
that's a very direct answer. I respect that.
Yeah, I need Guy to bring out the heel in him more. So
You know,
we need that.
You know, he probably doesn't feel a need to really compensate, you know, considering his size, like his actual size. You know,
Drew is literally larger
Yeah.
than life, and I don't mean that in a bad
Exactly.
way. He's just a big built man.
Yeah, I mean he's an enforcer, so
Yeah.
but I want him to be more of like that kind of presence, where people are scared of him again. Because I don't think when he was with Sam, people weren't as scared. Like they were scared of that team, but they weren't scared of him, like because he was just like a gentle giant, like he was like the face.
Low key, I would take a sweet hug from Drew McWeenie.
Yeah, he's like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
like we need to kind of agitate that teddy bear in that case.
Yeah,
we
so we
punch that
just
teddy
need
bear
to
in the face. That get it excited, get it pumped up, and ready to win a belt because that's what we're going to come at. Do you see after this first match? Do you feel like you see a belt in the near future? Like realistically, coming away from till the end of the season, do you think they're going to have a team belt, or even one of them is going to have a singles belt specifically at the end of the season? Mm-hmm. Dylan, do you kind of see them visualizing them with the belt in particular?
I think the potential is there. We just have to see, like I said, those two biggest weaknesses, ring rust, whatever, that's going to come off in another match or so. I think they're going to be good with that. I think that Drew needs to work on McWeenie, rather, because the Drews are going to get confusing. They need to work on that technique in their game, though, again. Guy knows it. He knows it. He's part of Team Action. They are they are the technical team for a long time for the movie Trivia Showdown. And I think that looking at half of that, just being able him to be able to incorporate that with McWeenie, I think they're going to crush. But do I think I can get a belt? Absolutely. Do I think that they're going to have it at the end of the season? Let's see what another match looks like. They beat Bateman and Dagnina, whatever. Mostly Bateman, which was running, admittedly, a fantastic game. But I want to see it against another pretty solid team. I think they still need to get, I don't know, maybe what would be a good team? That's a follow-up question. What would be the next team we want to see him play?
Wow. I mean, you can take it in a whole lot of directions, for sure. But I kind of want to see him take on, like, maybe the odd couple. You know, and Draco's kind of soft. Drew McWeening's a little soft. Snyder is a complete weirdo asshole. Right? You know,
Nuclear meltdown waiting.
Lord and Savior, but let's face it, he's an asshole. But you know what? He's right all the time. But you know, assholes a lot of cases are. So I would love to see the odd couple and our Drews kind of team. See how that kind of goes. I feel like that would be a really good matchup. Okay, so Danny, do you have any? What do you have? What ideas do you have? Or are you going to steal mine?
No, so wait. So, are we calling them the Drew Squared for now, or what are we? What are these called?
Technically, the whole faction is the family, correct? So
yeah, so it's like the Drew
Squared.
Drew Squared. All right, so Drew Squared.
Cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. Paddington 2s.
Double Drew.
God.
I want to see what else? What was the other team? Let's see. The Rotten Tomatoes team that was there.
Oh, MODOK?
Yeah, are they dead?
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah,
Paddington 2.
I think Paddington 2 is in replace them. Paddington 2 would be a really sweet match.
Yeah,
I'd respect that.
And that's not a short win. Those guys were killing it in the team tournament too.
Or even like a team like the Kingsmen, even though they're kind of like scrappy or something, but they're kind of funny.
They're not a thing anymore.
They're still funny though.
Yeah, no, but they're not a thing.
They
like disbanded them.
Wild
Berries.
What? Okay, I can't remember his name, but he was part of Kingsmen. He had glasses. I can't remember his name. Who he was exactly.
The one with the fake British accent one.
Yeah,
I forgot their name.
Yeah, he
World's Finest can do it too. Maybe World's Finest with Winston. and the zipper guy.
Yeah, but World Finals is kind of getting batted by corruption here Monday.
They're coming. Their match is this Monday, so we'll have to see how they come back.
That wouldn't be a bad play, actually.
Corruption.
They play corruption. They lose to corruption, probably. I don't see them taking it. And then they play Drew Square. Wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Work it way up to odd couple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think what we have to really wait is until like Houston is when the storyline's going to really pick up.
Yeah.
So until then, we're kind of just on our heels waiting for something like the calm before the storm.
On our heels.
You heard that?
Haha. I'll say those are really fantastic suggestions. I didn't even think of that. I mean, like that team up. So I mean, like not team up, but matchup. But that's a really awesome suggestion. I would love to see that in action here, possibly in the next, few weeks. So on that note, specifically, I know they started off right out of the gate. Drew Squared, I guess we're calling it that. They were a little iffy. They didn't do too great. I can't remember the specific number in terms of their combined points.
But in the round one, they had 9 points against the 12.
Yeah. So I mean, like it's okay. I mean combined, but Ben really kind of blew us out of the water that first round. Now going into second one, I feel like finally Drew Squared was gaining momentum. They started doing a whole lot better, obviously, but we started seeing a little bit of shakeups, and for Drew specifically, he wasn't doing so hot. He was a little hesitant answering some questions. He asked for a GTE a little bit too fast. I wasn't there, obviously, but who knows? How he actually felt about some of the questions. So how do you guys feel about specifically going towards the second half of the match? I mean, going into it, a lot of people thought that Drew Squared was going to. Oh, Paul?
Hey, Paul didn't
Hey, stranger.
We're in the middle of the match.
Please jump in. Please jump in.
I figured it was okay.
We're talking about action.
I'll throw it in there.
We're talking about match. Yeah, we are talking about our thoughts from round one or round two of the Action Civil War match.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. Well, go ahead. You guys keep your conversation. I'll get back in a second then.
All right. Perfect. Like I mentioned, just going from round two, we started seeing Drew get a little more confident. Being on the mic again. He started the shakiness initially started to wear off, and they were starting to butt heads in terms of being a little more even by this round. Now, that being said, Ben is carrying not who's the boss, but carrying the team against these two amazing players.
Mm-hmm.
Finstock, he's not a human. He's like a goat with man flesh.
Can we agree that Finstock and Benstock match? Well, Benstock is a good name, but I was going to say it's where's the mask instead of who's the boss.
Oh, good. That's a great.
I like it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Drew Squared versus Wear the Mask.
Yep.
We're calling him Drew Squared. So Paul, now specifically, what did you think? Did you feel any kind of hesitancy? Did you feel specifically watching the mask half in? Did you think, oh shit, maybe Drew Squared might lose?
I did have a little bit of a kind of when Drew McWeeny had kind of the lesser first round than I expected from him. When he got to that second round, I kind of was like, oh, man, if as much as I love Ben winning some things, it's good for him. I would totally shoot this whole Civil War thing right in the foot. So I did have a little bit of a fear, but I kind of sat back and watched and I said, okay, as long as Drew and Drew can get it together, then it should be okay. Mm-hmm. And they started getting together in round two. I was kind of like, okay, we're okay.
So no tears yet. That
no
didn't happen.
Tears.
No
tears.
Maybe
one single man tear rolled down, but
a man tear, not just a tear, it's a tear. It's an action tear.
That's what it is, exactly.
An action tear. Get that on a t-shirt. Okay, so there you go. So now walking away. Now we're finally gaining. By the end of round two, we're starting getting momentum. We're like, hey, Drew's really he started answering questions without even consulting Guy, and he's pulling him out. He's like, snaps, bitch. So you know, he started like getting more confidence. He started getting so much more excited, you know, in this team environment again. Now, Danny, specifically, now going back to our conversation earlier, how we were talking about how, you know, Drew McWeeny, maybe he's just better on a team. Maybe he's so much better on a team versus a single. When you saw him like looking at these questions, some of them without consulting Drew, did that ever kind of go through your head? Did you ever think to yourself, maybe Drew's more of a team player rather than a single player?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that I've always felt that way about McWeeny. That I think he's better as a teammate than an actual singles player.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing on his things, because I think what happens is like he rushes through things, and I think when he has a teammate by him, it kind of keeps him in place. It kind of calms him down. Because I think his biggest problem is he kind of just rushes in because he gets 80s topic, and you know he's got that knowledge already, like, but he just goes so quickly sometimes without thinking, and then he'll like rush. That's when he doesn't understand the rules of the game, and then he'll ask too many JTE rules or something, or jump the gun and answer a question wrong, and then lose a steal or something. So I think he's gonna kind of learn to kind of dial it back a little bit, and kind of like when they get better chemistry together as a team, they'll probably figure it out better. A guy's gonna probably do more of the talking and stuff, and then let him kind of, because that was kind of like what Sam was in a way, but he was like the face version of Andrew. Like,
it's so funny that we have someone being called a face. That's
he's the face version. Like he kind of just like guide him along.
What the fuck, Ben? Damn it! Come on. Still crying. Still don't believe it. I mean, come on. Wasn't that everyone's reaction? Like, it was an emotional moment. Paul, I know you were freaking out when that whole thing came out. Okay, now this is also this very start. This was like the first match, arguably the first match, the real beginning of the Civil War. We leave the match where Drew Squared wins. We're psyched. Obviously, we know they're going to be amazing. But that being said, they were actually, you know, what was it? They were supposed to be the underdogs of this match, I think. They came out first. They were the underdogs, but also a lot of people are like low-key talking about how Robert Bryan Burnett, he has like a record on the team, like 5-2. Like, that's amazing. You know, whatever. I'm like, shit, man, do you not remember this guy? That was like forever ago. What the fuck are you talking about? Now, that being said, this was like we mentioned earlier, this was the first real match of Drew Squared. This is like where we started really kind of seeing them work together as a team, and we started seeing both pros and cons of them working together specifically. Now, as a first step into resolving this Civil War, this, you know, a team action Civil War situation, what are you kind of hoping to see going into the next match, the live match coming up here in a few weeks? Like, is there anything specific that you would be crazy excited to see, that you would go mad with excitement? Dylan, do you have anything else off the top of your head that you would be so excited to see?
The live match with Who's the Boss, or the live match between Ben and Drew?
Sorry?
The live match between Who's the Boss, or the live match between Ben and Drew, just to clarify.
Ben and Drew.
Ben and Drew, okay. What do I want to see from that match?
Today was not today, but if like this match we're just referring to is like the first step.
Right, and the continuation of the story.
Yeah, gotcha. The next step in the next battle.
Yeah, sorry, Bateman's in so many live matches; it's hard to keep up with all of them right now. So, what do I want?
Does he do anything else with his life?
No, he exclusively goes to live events.
Does he have a job?
He doesn't watch any of these videos, which would be good whenever I do my meet and greet, and I'm shaking his hand. I need a team guy shirt though. I need to wear that underneath. Paul, you got one I can borrow for Chicago?
I do. I'll go one out to you. They're a little bigger.
What do you
bigger than you are, though. So.
Like a Superman moment where you just kind of rip it up a little bit.
Just full unleash with it.
But if you did that, we would just call you a fucking traitor. So don't do that.
Well, he would know, wouldn't he? He would
Don't
know.
do that. Don't do that, Dylan.
All right.
Out
Expectations for the match.
And we'll have you blocked.
Expectations for the match, though. I really don't know because we've seen we've seen at least 2 times.
I mean, not
come in.
expectations, Dylan. But in a fantasy world, what would you want to see?
Fantasy world.
What would you want to see? What kind of situation would need to happen in order for you to pay $100 for this match?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right. What craziness, ridiculousness would have to happen?
Here's the craziest thing with it that I think, though, is in this weird situation, Ben wins, and stick with me. So Ben wins because his stipulation is he gets to pick guy's next match. So what if we see a total flip? And Ben's just like, all right, your next match, team champ match. You and McQueenie against whoever, Shire Wolves at the time, if they're still team champions. And they're just like, all right, team match. He just gives them what if he gives them a championship match right off the bat? And then that just shoots them into that shot.
Wow. That's
I think seeing that live would be insane. The roof would blow off.
Riffing off of that.
Yeah.
Riffing off of that. I mean, Drew is obviously known for his mouth more than anything else, obviously.
What?
His mouth.
What?
Intimidating.
No.
He runs his mouth. Yeah. Hey, stick with me. I know it's quite a shock. But I would love to see something like that happen where let's say Ben wins in Houston. Because his stipulation, if he loses, he's out of the Ultimate Tournament. I don't want to see that happen. But, I mean, so Ben wins, and then Drew just, goes off on Ben in such a way that Ben almost wants to kick his ass again. And that's what gives him the impetus to give him some kind of all right, fine. It'll be a 3-way title shot. Who's the boss? Shire Wolves. Drew.
Oh. I'm sorry, Dylan. Is that you just got popped?
Yeah, no, that's my idea on steroids. I mean, really, any of those situations.
My heaven matchup.
Oh, what a match!
I would pay money for that. Send that idea. Get Patreon.
I'll work that out on Patreon.
Even following those trails, and this probably isn't one up, but this is a very sideways step. Which would we rather see? A triple threat team match, which sounds ridiculous to try to even manage, or we want to see Ben versus Andrew versus whoever the singles champ is at that time.
That could be another fun one.
That would be interesting.
If it was Merle still at that time,
no.
Let's say
it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Oh, if it's Roca.
As much as I'd hate to say him, if it's Roca.
I don't want to see Roca again, but if it's
I don't want to see Roca get the championship, but a Ben and Drew and Roca match where they could almost that's the impetus to get them back together. If anything can get team action back together, team up to beat the hell out of Roca.
Oh God, I don't want Roca to be champ though.
They could actually walk out and then say that'd be the greatest thing. They could actually walk out of that match, look at each other just for a second, look at Roca, and break into the old laughter.
I kind of want Roca to take a step back. And I think I would want, considering the craziness that would go on in this hypothetical fantasy match, I would want a little estrogen up in there. I would like to see a Clark Wolf.
Ooh, I like that too.
She's always been so close to singles champion. She's been up for 2-3 times now for singles champion.
I think she's at 2
champion. I think that a match like that not only would she be able to prove her amazing talents and abilities as a single player, not just a team player, but that she can she can go right along with the real big heels of the entire thing.
I have my fantasy pitch too.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Daniel.
Speaking of Clark
Wolf,
because the Clark Wolf is the idea that I have against the Shire Wolves lose, break and Clark and they break up, and Drew recruits Clark Wolf to the Juice Bar.
Oh.
Then we get Rachel versus Clark.
Oh,
That is definitely
Ben
a dream match right there.
That sounds like it's like setting up a live event in itself, a Civil War live action event. You know, Ben, Drew.
It reminds me how, like, watching Mark Knoppick and Rachel Cushing, when you watched them together, you're watching them and you're like, oh my gosh, these two women are so talented. They're so knowledgeable, and they're both amazing, and they're both sick during this match. And watching it, you kind of don't want either of them to win because it was such a good match. Now, that being said, I feel like that's how it would be for me to watch that. You know, I mean, just like
I agree. Clark and Rachel would be a good match.
I don't know.
That'd be hard to watch them lose.
Just like any match, I would need one of them to do at least a little bit of a heel, a little bit, at least like a Janine. You know.
Janine, I'm pretty sure Clark is going to go heel. I have a feeling.
Oh,
Clark
I would love to see
been on that for so long.
I think that's almost impossible, though. To be honest, I wish he would, but hear me out. I remember there was like a behind the match thing that Ben and Drew did, where they were explaining about the process of filming that match when Ben was up against Clark during Singles and Anarchy, not Anarchy, but last year. And he was talking about how he couldn't, Christian told Ben that he didn't want him to do as much psychological warfare, so to speak. Christian told him, hey, don't be mean, don't send her texts, don't be rude or anything, don't say like these jokes right off the bat, like the moment he walked in the door. And Ben was like, okay, I guess I'll be nice. I'll be, my typical self, but I won't be as aggressive as Ben is, or, when he's in Singles, he definitely amps it up, obviously. And because Ben was saying it's because Clark can't do that. She can't react to it very well. It's not to mention doing that to being such an aggressive asshole. Not only that, towards a female on there can be it can look really bad.
Yeah, especially now.
What they're saying isn't like sexist or anything, but doing it on camera at the level they do, it can come off really, really bad.
I think there's that one line that even the Schmoedown doesn't really want to cross into, because I think that there's enough shit between the especially the gender focus on this game. And there shouldn't be, because Clark is as good as any other player in there. Like, Clark is one of my longtime favorites even before Action.
And Cushing is actually probably better than anybody, to be honest.
Cushing is probably just the best player. Like, right?
I don't know about the best player, but she's definitely in the discussion of like the top 5.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Like, to me, 3 or 4, definitely up there. Considering she is on the, I feel like she's on the mind, and she's like one of the original players, like from the first season. I mean, she's pretty iconic as a player. Now that being said, 100%. Now that being said, like we were saying earlier, the underdogs. It's kind of funny describing Drew as an underdog. That's so weird. But he's known for being an underdog and coming out on top on matches with him and Merle, him and Riley. And this now, at what point, Paul, I can see you nodding there. At what point is he not going to be an underdog? People just keep underestimating him, both the fans and other players. What's going to happen?
I wish I knew. People have been underrating him forever, but he's got a different skill set than most of the male-dominated league have. As far as he actually, with his background, is being brought up by his mother and his sisters. Just as you saw in that Merle angle, he could hit the romance angle and sweep the floor with it because he just knows it by osmosis. Whereas a lot of the males probably don't have that quite a background.
It's
there's those little niche categories that some of the men don't have that he is just through osmosis taken in. So I think he, in a way, if he's the kind of guy to me, so he should be a mid-level guy. He is not in the upper echelon of pure movie knowledge, but if you get him the right categories, he could beat any one of you at any time.
But you can say that for a lot of other players. I mean, for example, Stacey Howard.
Yeah, that's true too.
A lot of people consider her very similarly. very much an underdog in every single match she's gone up against. Yet she does have like a pretty solid record considering. And when she was when she was part of the Viper Squad, they were great and everything, but people keep underselling her. And recently she was part of SchmoedownSD.com doing an article talking about how her favorite one is
the fashion dramas, right?
Yeah, it was like costume dramas. Yes.
Right, a period piece.
So everyone has their favorites, but that being said, if Drew didn't get what's the word I'm looking for? Opponent's choice. If he didn't get Merle didn't get opponent's choice. If he did one of his favorites, or Riley did, because I think they both got opponent's choice when they spun during the second round. Would he be? He did definitely with during Merle. I know that for sure. I mean,
Merle did. Riley, I think.
Yeah, would we be in
this? Might have got a strength actually. Thinking about it, I feel like he might have got sports and soundtracks and then just got.
Yeah, I think Riley got. I think he did too, which is weird.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like if I'm wrong on that one, but I mean that being said, though, if he didn't build his momentum off from that first match with Merle with opponent's choice, would we be having this conversation? I mean, would we be having this civil war? Would we be having this idea that where he ended up going against these monsters, these beasts later on, where now he's definitely one of the best players in the league?
I think it was kind of a perfect storm of a situation. As far as I know, Christian has said that it wasn't considering what he wanted out of the whole Merle versus Guy thing. He wanted the whole Merle versus Sam eventually. And I've been a couple of memes where you see Christian being like at the booth during the whole thing, like going, "What the fuck just happened?" Yeah. But I think because
he's just like,
a guy wasn't listening to the narrative or whatever. But I think when Guy. He came back and what he did, people they could excuse it a little bit because Merle had ring rust, because then Riley had a ring rust. And so kind of like people have been able to excuse him. That's why I think Guy still is underrated to a degree. Because they're like, because Merle came back later on and he's now Merle again and now champion again. Riley's with Who's the Boss. He's good again. But it's a perfect storm in that way because of if it was ring rust, I don't know. I mean, who knows whether it was or wasn't. If it was because of ring rust, his victories do springboard him into the place where he had a better record percentage than Ben does. So he does, that's right. So on paper, Drew and Ben make a match. Whereas before, if you were telling me Drew was going to be like making a singles debut against Ben, it'd be hard. It'd be a little bit of a hard sell because of the what's the word we're looking for? The perception, and the wrong perception from what I've heard is that Ben carried action. Whereas in truth, if you'll ask them, you'll talk to them, Drew wasn't getting carried. I mean, Ben's a stronger player, but Drew definitely wasn't getting carried.
Yeah, and any of the videos that they did on their Patreon, they're very upfront about it, how Ben was, and Guy admitted it, Ben was a superior player, like just them two. So, it's... And they're both really great, working the mic, psychological warfare. They're both amazing performers. They're both really amping it up, obviously. So, Danny, how do you kind of see a Guy turning this underdog situation to, hey, fuck you, Ben. I actually won this match. So haha. Now we're finally going up just 1-on-1. It's not going to be a team match. He's not going to have Drew behind him. How do you think, Guy's initial reaction, is going to be right off the bat, going up against his former teammate, up against, the one they really worked together in terms of really, really working this whole heel mentality, this aggressive heel mentality. I feel like Rocco was a soft heel by comparison. He was action really just blew it out of the water. It's just like on another level. So how do you feel like he's going from this underdog situation to really being someone that's going to be on the forefront that everyone's going to really start paying attention to actively?
Yeah. Just to piggyback off what we were talking about earlier, I really do think that whole Action Civil War was probably as a result of Andrew beating Merle. Like, I think they had to break up Team Action because they needed to go somewhere with that because they needed a new storyline because they probably didn't expect him to beat. They probably expected Sam and Merle to like meet.
Oh, Christian even says
So
he
I
was
think
just
that's
zero
where
expectations for you.
Yeah, so like I think that was like where this whole Action Civil War thing kind of broke because after that came Corruption basically. So that was like the unofficial like death of Team Action in a way. But
really,
I mean, like I guess the question, going back to your question about the whole underdog thing is, I think that's why that's live show is going to be what is perfect for the two of them because, I think that's really where the two of them really shine. If you looked at the last live event when they had Action Shirewolves, I mean they stole the show even though a lot of them were like Shirewolf fans, but really like they even got like the Shirewolf fans to kind of like turn against them in a little way in the beginning. So like seeing the both of them kind of like
Rocky IV
play with them, yeah. So I think it's gonna be like it'll be like what's it called, like the early Rocky movies, like like where maybe we'll have like Andrew might lose or something, but then like he'll come back and like stronger and stuff because he'll have McWeeny like kind of like giving him more information than probably Ben ever did, like because Ben has that specific knowledge like with movie release dates, but I think McWeeny has a lot. Yeah, but I think McWeeny has a lot more other knowledges what they can do, so I think he can learn from him.
I think his focus is really great with decades focus like 80s, 90s, that kind of thing. I mean, that's where I feel like where he really shines. That really kind of backs him up because those they're just so vast. You just kind of know a little bit of everything rather than honing in on specifics like Drew and Ben can. Now, just to take a quick vote, we can kind of wrap it up here in a second. Just take a quick vote coming into this match in April, the live event. Real quickly, who do you think is gonna win?
The Star Wars.
The April one, meaning the April one, the Star Wars one.
I mean, against Guy and specifically. Sorry, I should have clarified. My bad. Who do you think is gonna win? Specifically, I don't need to hear why not, or anything specifically, but in your gut, who do you think is gonna win, Paul?
I think Ben's gonna win.
Dylan?
Yeah, you say in my gut, and my head says Ben, but my gut says Guy.
All right, and Danny?
I think I could see Guy pulling this one off. But I mean, if we're talking about knowledge, I mean Ben has the upper hand, but I really think in the live setting, Andrew's going to find a way. He's going to pull it off. As much as it would hurt me because I don't want to see Ben miss the singles.
Absolutely, and I'm right up there with you.
I can tell you about Harloff once.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I feel very similar to you, Dylan, Danny. I feel in my heart, Guy is gonna win, but I feel like, but I do in my head, if I had to place a bet, I feel like it would be Ben, even though my insides would be dying.
Plus, we kind of want we still kind of want Action kind of like to represent still in the singles tournament too. So.
Well, here's also the way. The other reason why I can go for Ben and I can be okay about voting for Ben for May because if Ben loses, it sucks. If Drew loses, Drew is not set up for a singles career per se. He's always been kind of more of a tag team guy either way. And him is Drew and Drew. It's not Drew's single career. It's what Drew and Drew can do. So Drew losing a singles match to Ben doesn't hurt where Drew's standing is at all. Because he's going to be going the Drew train, Drew, and move forward with that. Whereas Ben losing a singles kills him.
That hurts a whole chunk of our career for that whole last year.
And he had absolutely
the stakes
had
are a
a
lot
shot
higher
to win
for
the
Ben.
belt.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well,
yeah, that's pretty nuts. I mean, I hate to leave it there. I don't want to leave it on a sad note. you know, but, you know, I'm just going to cry tonight, you know, thinking about, you know, the real men in my life, you know. So, you know, team action. That's what I'm thinking about. But so as I'm surrounded by my cats and my fiance. On that note, thank you so much. You know, Paul, you're a rock star. I'm so sad I can't hang out with you guys on AMA on Wednesdays. It hurts my soul. Dylan, thank you again. You know, thanks for helping me out so much during this whole tech process. It's been a learning curve, but I'm excited about it. Danny, you're always a hoot and a half. Chatting with you is definitely brightens my day, but not in a really ridiculous way with the sunshine. But again, where can we see you guys? Where can we find out where you guys are up to on social media?
You can find me on. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at DKPKP. That's DK Pi Kappa Phi. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. And Instagram. Also, make sure you check out American. You can check out Action Industries, their Twitter page.
Yeah, their Twitter page, also their Instagram, their Facebook page. Everyone that's listening, please check them out. They're switching it around. They're doing so many amazing things through there. You know, we can always you know, give a little extra support as they go on trying new things with their newest endeavor. What about you? Was that you, Dylan? Do you have any social media you want us to hit up?
Yeah, you can. I guess you can just check me out on the Facebook pages. You'll see me across every single one of them. I've recently posted the fist pump moment from Fight Club not too long ago on the Action Industries page.
That was solid.
Yeah, thank you. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I don't encourage it. I don't do anything on Twitter. Don't follow me on Twitter.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, keep it on Facebook. That's where I'm at on the groups. You can catch me there talking about anything action, anything Schmoedown, anything like that. Where's the belts?
All day, every day. Paul, tell me where you're at.
Twitter at Paul_Denuzio, DINUZZO. Instagram, Paul Denuzio as well. And patreon.com/team action. That's where you're going to find everything new. We're revamping everything. We're going to be offering new tiers. They're going to simplify things, streamline things, but we're going to get all sorts of new content. Try to have daily content. Try to have a little social interaction. And, of course, we're going to get the Schmoedown reactions for $2 patrons. $5 gets the early access to the Action Guys, the full video of the Action Guys. So we're all over that. And again, Action Industries on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Also, All About Action. That's the fan group that Jarvi and I have been moderating for a while. Everybody's great in there. We talk all sorts of action stuff, Schmoedown stuff, everything. Team Action also has their own Facebook group as well. So the Action Army. So I'm all over all of those pages. So
I love the support, Paul. You are the best. Everyone loves you.
Paul, you're a legend. Love you.
Living legend. And I'm Alex Mack. You can check me out on Instagram, where I'm super duper popular with 300 followers, obviously. Woo! And Instagram at Mac_Midori. So check me out. And I'm also on Facebook under the same. But thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Signing off, guys.